welcome back on another adventure. In this video I explore familiar shipwrecks, I encounter large schools of bass, and I get my first bass of 2025.
First fish 2025! Hey! How's it going, everyone? Believe it or not, it's actually the first week in April and it looks like it's middle of summer. It's fucking awesome. So today I'm in Cornwall. If you don't recognise the area, I'm in Newquay, and that is Towan Headland over there. I've got about an hour to dive, so gotta make this one a quick one. I'm gonna check this little area down here and hopefully we'll find some fish, eh?
After waiting for months for spring to finally arrive, and with the weather being this good, I was very excited to get in. Not to mention the bass season just opening also.
Water's not too bad. Little bit chilly, but I'd say probably, I don't know, it feels about 10 degrees.
Once my head was underwater, I saw the dreaded green hue of the algal bloom. In the spring, the warmer weather and increased sunlight causes a rapid surge in phytoplankton growth. The ocean turns a green colour and is packed with algae, which leads to diabolical visibility. I can't even see the end of my gun in these dives. Not ideal conditions for spearfishing. I've got to be very lucky to spot a fish in this. So it doesn't take me long to change tactics and start trying to look in holes, as it's the only thing I can really see.
Definitely not the conditions I was expecting. I was expecting the algal bloom to hit probably in a couple of weeks, maybe in May, but nah, it's here already. It's probably because we had a week of decent weather and yeah, it's fucking on, so this is dog shit. Oh, yeah, not ideal.
As I didn't have long, I continued to persevere anyway, hoping to find something hiding in between one of the boulders or in the cracks. But unsurprisingly, I didn't run into anything. I had one last ditch dive in the shallows before heading back in.
That didn't exactly go to plan, did it? Maybe I'll have a bit more luck when I go to Sennen tomorrow. Because that, yeah, that wasn't it, was it?
The next day I ended up at Sennen Cove, and the conditions were absolutely stunning. There was no wind, the sea was a beautiful turquoise blue. It was almost like I was in the Bahamas for a second. Sennen's becoming a bit of a favourite spot for me, and I already know exactly where I'm going to go to look for fish.
Looking much nicer at Sennen today. Doesn't look like the algae blooms here either. It looks pretty okay. So once we get out a little bit deeper, hopefully it's decent, eh?
The sea was still a bit green, but the visibility was much better than in Newquay. Within a couple of dives, I ended up finding a wreck that I'd visited a few years ago. Time to get exploring. This is a pretty large wreck, but the last time I was here I did find bass, and it was also packed with marine life. The wreck seemed pretty quiet today. I was seeing quite a few spider crabs and wrasse, but I hadn't really seen any bass on the wreck today. Time to change locations. So I headed in a southwesterly direction towards the rocks where the kelp bed started. And it was here that I ran into my first school of bass. Most of these fish looked borderline or smaller, but I could see a couple of standout fish milling about at the back of the school. I just needed to be patient and wait long enough for them to come in. Well, that wasn't the best of starts, was it?
Whoops.
And just to really rub salt in the wound, the bass decided to circle underneath me as I frantically tried to reload my gun. With the gun reloaded, it was time to take another dive. This looked like a very nice fish. Never mind. I don't know what was going on with my aim today, but I was just way off. Maybe I was rushing too much. I see another slightly larger bass cruise in from the left. Must have been slightly out of range. After a third miss, I decided to head back in with my tail between my legs. Day 3 was my final chance to come home with a fish, so I knew I had to bring my A game and not fanny about like yesterday. So I headed straight to the wreck first to check for fish. Now the wreck was absolutely packed with wrasse today, and if I'm being honest, I was very tempted to take one as a last resort, to make sure at least I don't come back empty-handed. But in the end, I just couldn't pull the trigger. I don't know what it is about wrasse, but I'm really reluctant to shoot one. And with the wreck still not producing bass, it was time to change location once again. And it wasn't long before I was back on my fishy spot. But today the bass seemed a little bit skittish and less eager to come in close. There weren't as many standout fish either, so I wasn't getting as many opportunities as yesterday. But I was still optimistic that something bigger would come around eventually. The larger fish just didn't seem to be coming in, and I didn't really want to pick off one of these smaller bass. I was starting to think that I was going to come back empty-handed again. And with my hopes of catching a bass slowly dwindling away, I noticed in the corner of my eye 2 larger bass coming into the school, and I wasn't taking any chances.
Okay, that's big enough.
I only needed one good bass, and with that secured, it was time to head back into shore.
Right, I think I'm going to come in now. Where's my fish? Woo! First bass of the year. Hey, that's a good size as well. Now I've got to get back. Fuck, this current's pulling me pretty hard. Right, I'll see you back in. So I'm hanging out my house. I didn't think that there were many in that school that were a good size, but this, I don't know, looks about 48, maybe 50, I don't know. I'll have to see when we get in, I'll measure it. Almost. That swim back was fucking horrible. There's also a bad move putting on my thin gloves today. My hands aren't working properly at all. First fish 2025. Hey!
This bass actually ended up measuring 53 centimetres, so it was a personal best for Sennen, and probably my best shore dive bass to date. With a successful dive, it was time to make the hour-long drive back to the campsite. Once I got back to the campsite, I filleted the fish, took the collars, and then cooked it over an open fire. Not a bad way to start the 2025 spearfishing season, and I've got plenty more adventures lined up for this year, so make sure you stick around for that. See you on the next one.